Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the World Championship Racing Grand Prix here in Germany. I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk is the legendary Kai Bacchini. How you doing?
Absolutely brilliant, Ben. Thanks. How are you?
Good. I sound like I caught you mid-drink or something there. But we are here in Germany. Beautiful track. Tons of overtake opportunities. Actually, this featured in the F1 Esports just Wednesday was actually, and it was a really exciting race then. And I can imagine with 19 drivers on the grid, and after a couple of weeks break for these guys, it's going to be really exciting times to get back underway. But Kai, straight off the bat, what's your top 3 prediction?
My whiz, straight in. Well, we've got a lot of fast drivers. The eyes will all be on these couple of drivers. I'm not saying these are top 3, but I'm saying these are the drivers to watch out for, which is Lemon, Martin G, Copy. You've also got Rayner and Nickton. But if I was going to say a top 3, I'd say Lemon, Nickton, and Martin G.
So I currently have a little glitch where I don't have any engine audio at the minute. Just bear with me 1 second whilst I try and figure a method on how I can fix this. I think I may have to... Will this work? Nope. Alright, Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to leave and rejoin.
Okay, cool.
As it would appear, I don't have audio.
No, but I can't send you an invite.
You can't, but I should have one from Ray, I believe.
Ah, right. Okay,
And
so that should be fine.
So hold the phone. I'm back in. Just going to mute everybody. Go to spectate. And let's see if it's fixed. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Do I have engine audio? Yes, I do. Cracking.
Hey.
So, apologies. I was distracted throughout you running through your top 3. What's your top 3?
Lemon, Brownie, and a Nickton.
That's actually a really solid shout. I don't think there's... I mean, Rayner has on and off days, so I don't know whether or not Rayner's going to be able to actually deliver a quick enough pace. I haven't seen him race for quite a while. Actually, someone else to really pay attention to is Zones. Zones is rapid, like seriously quick. I've actually commentated on him a few times in Apex Online Racing. He's now just been moved up to F2. I want to know like what he can do and actually charge ahead. So my top 3, I think we're looking at Lemon, Martin G, or then is who else? I do think Brownie has got the skill, and this is actually a track that he's really quite good at. So I'm gonna go Lemon, Martin G, Brownie. That's where you went as well, right?
I went Lemon, Brownie, and Nickton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going Lemon, Martin G, Brownie.
All right.
Well, first time on the board.
Order,
no? Okay.
Alright. I don't know the order, but that's going to be the people in the top 3 for me.
Fair enough. Well, Tinko's set the fastest time on the board with the soft tyres. He's done a 1:12.030. Now, I have it on good authority that you do not want to be on the soft compound tyre around this track because it just disintegrates far too quickly and you easily find yourself in a lot of trouble. Ideally, you want to go mediums to hards sort of area, although Lemon just chucks in a ridiculous lap time going 1:11.073. So really, really good time from him. A full second ahead of Tinko in P2.
But Martin G, P2 was Tinko. But Martin G with a 1:11.2 suddenly goes P2, and 5 minutes into the session, we're already having rapid lap times.
I couldn't even dream of a 1:11.0. That's just how insane these times are right now. Frankie Pie's out on a hot lap right now, but only hard compound tyre. And Nick Turner, who is one of your picks, actually coming up to the line right now, will go P2 as well. Actually separates Martin G and Lemon with a 1:11.141. A beautiful lap time from it. Nick Turn, is there anyone else who can match it? It's not going to be Brownie. He's in the pits.
Yeah. I think, yep, he was on the soft. He didn't complete the lap, but it will be interesting to watch all the other drivers. As we see, Schwalbe cross the line. He goes 5th with 1:12 dead, which is still a quick lap time, but it is a second off the pace right now. let's
Yeah,
have
but
a
I mean,
look at-
he's on
yeah.
medium tires though. Look at that, he's on medium tires. To be a second down on mediums is still pretty damn good. We got to give him a little bit of credit for that. I mean, he matched Tinko's time almost, and he's on a harder compound. Like that's, I mean, Frankie Pie's right there as well. Yeah, 8 tenths behind, but still on a hard compound tire. That's a good time to be putting in right now. We've only got, we have got 12.5 minutes remaining of the session, which means obviously there's tons of track evolution left to come in. I'm waiting to see what they can do as Beaker's in the gravel in Vettel corner.
And I didn't want to interrupt you, but Bulksan's just on a 1:10.9. Now that's some serious pace.
Yeah, I did not expect that from Bulksan. Definitely haven't seen a performance like that from him ever, to be truthfully honest. So if Bulksan can maintain that, might actually be able to get himself a good, solid podium towards the end. But, you know, getting a good time in the qualifying versus getting a good race pace are two completely different things. So we'll see if the strategy works out for Bulksan, and if there's going to be any rain, this could really play havoc with his situation.
Yeah, we don't know if there is any rain, and actually it would make sense if there's rain because all the drivers are going on hot laps on the soft.
Yeah, Blackbird's done a time. He's gone P5, 1:11.394. Spawn is just getting out of the way of him, even though I think he's actually going to go again, but he hasn't really got the ERS to do that with. Zones is currently out there on hot lap right now, coming into the final sector. This is such a lovely long left-hander, this one. You want to kind of get quite tight. I mean, he took it a little bit wider there, but not really going to cost him any time. This double right-hander, again, can be so smooth, but it's a weird one. I think he may have just invalidated. He might have actually got away with it. Let's see. Here he comes to the line. Nope, he was totally fine. It's a 1:11.017.
These times are very quick, especially only 8 minutes into the session. We've still got 10 minutes left. With track evolution coming their way, I think we will see maybe a couple of drivers even improve on their times.
Yeah, maybe. The sky is not looking too great though. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to rain right now, but there's a possibility we might be seeing some rainfall towards the end of this qualifying session. So keep an eye on the halos. You might see some raindrops falling on top of their top of the rings, and then maybe even on their helmet. But we'll keep an eye out around because Tinko is actually on hot lap as well, looking very swift through turn 1. Turn 2 is coming up here. Brake hard, get down to gear 3. If you're really struggling, which he was there, go to gear 2. He's got Brownie, I believe, in front that he can use for tow. Won't be able to get too much tow from it unless Brownie is on an outlap, which he is not. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, it will be interesting to watch Brownie. He's unfortunately hasn't set a time yet. So, not unfortunately, but he just came off the corner. He's coming down into the left-right. Very nice, fast-paced corner. You want to use as much curb as possible, trying to get the run onto straight, keep it flat. Yep, and then you got the beautiful right-hander. Just go down a gear. And then you straight back on the throttle, and then you come into, as I said, the nice left-hander, swooping corner, easy on the throttle, trying to bring it around the corners. Then you have the double right, very easy to make a mistake for here. But it looks like Brownie's took it beautifully. Ooh, that was very close, and I think, nope, I thought he'd invalidated, but it is a 1:11.5.
Yeah, and Tinko right behind as well, 1:11.7, so it does improve from the previous lap time, but still not quite near the pace he needs it to be. Beaker's out there on a hot lap as well. Let's see where Spax is. Ray's across the line, but invalidated, so he's going to have to go again. Still got 9 minutes remaining in the session, but if he does rain, he's running out of time, so he really needs to get his moves on now if he wants to get a solid lap time in. I'm not sure if it's going to rain or not, but Spax is getting a beautiful slipstream now, right up towards the hairpin. Brakes so hard to make sure you can get round pretty tightly. Yellow flag sector 2 is not going to be anything other than people getting out of the way, but Spax Gamer on the charge into sector 3.
Yep, and Spax Gamer, it will be interesting to watch him. He can be quick at times. Nickton's retired from the session, so is that a crash or is that voluntary?
I think that might be turn 1, you know. I'm just on board with Beaker right now just to see if that was indeed a turn 1 issue. Beaker's across the line, goes P4, 1:11.053. I can see there's a yellow flag, but I don't see any debris. I don't see any remains of a car. So if there was a collision, it has been cleared away very swiftly. The marshals here do work very hard, very well. Bulksan's gone faster. No, he has not. That's a lie. He was actually on an outlap. He's now obviously still sitting at the top. Lemon, though, is so close. 10.925. The time's getting really close. Oh, that was close. Borkson almost ran into the Toro Rosso of Camille.
Yeah, I saw that. That was too close for comfort for me. Oh.
I was just watching the way the zones was taking turn 1. It didn't quite look as clean as it could probably have done it. That might have even been an invalidated lap, which I think it was. Already in mode 0, we lost Martin G. I think it's because the session... I am confused. There's a lot of yellow flags everywhere. I'm looking for any... There's a car over to the right side. I think people are starting to retire. I think they're expecting the rain to come. Either we'd be completely... Yeah, look, there's Rainer there. He's not actually had a collision. He's just retired from the session. I am absolutely baffled.
Schwalbe's went P3 though.
I don't understand why anyone would have come... Why anyone would have retired now.
Yeah.
Like, people are still improving. It doesn't make sense to me, especially the likes of Martin G and Nick Turn, Rainer. These are guys that are rapid and are nowhere near where their pace should put them. I am so lost right now.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, especially with the likes of the very quick drivers, Rainer, Camille, Nickton, Martin G.
So yeah, I was right. The rain has started to fall. It's literally spitting, and that would explain why they've decided to retire, especially if they did. So Martin G had 2 laps on those softs, which explains why he retired. Rainer also had 2 laps on his softs, and he's had some horrible laps. If he's done a 1:13.3, then yeah, he's not quite had the pace he wanted. So he's going to be starting P18 at best, realistically, because Stefanita's yet to put a time in. He's in the pits at the minute on the mediums. But yeah, I think Rainer is going to sit where he is. Stefanita's going to stay P19, and I think that's it. I don't think we're going to be seeing any more of this qualifying session.
Yeah, I don't think we will see anyone improve on their times, especially with the rain coming. The track's just going to get more wet, and you can see it's starting to come down a bit more heavier. Everyone's starting to retire from the session.
Yeah, Iron Ray's put intermediate tyres on. He's currently sat in the pits though, so I don't expect necessarily to see him come out. Some people do try to do that. I mean, Lemon is a sort of person who usually does, and he's currently doing that right now. Lemon has got the intermediate tyres on in the pits right now. Oh, big slide from Zones. He kept himself out of the wall, but we saw in the official F1 just how this track can really cost you in the wet conditions, especially in that final double right-hander. That can really throw you off. We saw Hulkenberg in the official F1 where he just couldn't stop. Just slid on the ice rink and went all the way over into the wall, and that was it for him. Beaker on an outlap, and I think that was the sound of a Mercedes firing up as well.
It did sound like it.
I think both the Mercedes drivers are on the way out. Let's have a look. I see one of them. I don't see the other as it stands.
Ray is out.
I'm interested as to what Frankie Pie is going to do. He's currently out there on soft compound tyres in wet conditions. I mean, it's not properly wet yet, but surely he's not got the pace to be able to improve to be in that area. We have not had DRS-DB disabled yet, so there's still an opportunity for times to be on the board. But can you really get in the 111s in these conditions?
No, you wouldn't think that people would do 111s, as Tinko's had a bit of an off, but he's came straight back into the pits. You wouldn't think that you'd do 111s in these conditions. I don't think it's possible.
No, I'm looking for him. He's actually in the pits. It was Beaker as well as also out there. He's the one who's doing the hot lap on the softs as well. Beaker fancying his chances. Only needs to improve by 400ths of a second. If he does, he's going to jump Zones. And if he does a little bit more than that, he'll even jump Spawny Star. But it's just too close for comfort. I don't think he's going to be able to improve on his time. But only he knows right now. He's the one who's got the data. Final corner. Nope, in the pits.
I think he might have just been faking people out.
Possibly. I mean, I'm watching Ray, who's out on the intermediate tyres. I mean, it's definitely not Inter's time, and he's finding that out the hard way. Schraber's come out on the intermediate tyres as well. Again, not sure why they've decided to do this. If they just retire from the session, they're not going to be any worse off than they were before, because no one can improve right now.
Yeah, true.
So, intriguing. Bird in the pits, obviously, on the mediums. The only drivers out on track right now are Spax Gamer, Ray and Schwalbe, who's just started an outlap. I'm on board with Spax, who is on the soft compound tyre. Tinko's retired. He knows nothing's going to change here. Anyone else going to join him?
It doesn't look like it. Yep,
Oh,
Spax has.
Yeah, he knows. It's just not doable. Frankie Pie's on his way out, is that? Oh no, that's Lemon who's on his way out, sorry. He's just decided now's a good time to go on the Inters. Don't feel it. Oh, there we go. That's it. DRS disabled. Time to go, he says. It seems kind of pointless these guys even trying to do this. There is absolutely no way they're going to improve, and I will eat my socks for anybody who can do that. Frankie Pie realizes, says nope, retiring from this session then, so we are stuck with Stephanie, Brownie, Bird, Ray, Beaker, Schwalbe and Lemon all doing Inters laps except for Stephanie, who's not yet done a lap at all.
Yeah, so do you think there's any chance that Stephanie has a quali ban?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know for sure. I don't remember seeing Stephanie race in the last race. Bear in mind, it's been 2 weeks since we actually got to, well, 3 technically, since we actually got to have the last race here. I don't know whether or not that has happened. But I know Stephanie did have issues at the beginning of the race where I actually had to leave and rejoin. Oh, that's very uncomfortable there from Lemon on the outlap. Where's Schwalbe?
He is all over the place. That's it.
I think everyone is there. It's weird.
I think people might be on the Inters because it'll be wet for the race maybe, and people are just trying to put a bit of practice in.
Yeah, possibly. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. It might rain, it might not in the race. But Lemon's out now on the hot lap. Schwalbe has retired from the session, so we're just a few drivers remaining to go. 36 seconds though before we get to the end of the official session, and then you have the 2-minute cooldown for the guys to chuck in their final laps if they're on one. Otherwise, it'll be GG for the qualifying session and then into the race.
Yep. And the race is going to be an interesting one.
Especially with the fact you got like Martin G and Nick Turn there in 8th and 9th. These are guys you expect to be up in the top 4 at least. You know, you got a lot of drivers that are actually very fast here. Rayner as well, P18. That is so uncharacteristic for him. He's usually a seriously fast driver and not even able to get into the 111s. The only driver besides Stefanetti who hasn't actually set a time at all that hasn't made it into the 111s or better. There's a Haas there off track. That would be Bird, it looks like. Yep, it is. Currently doing donuts. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose. Never mind. Brownie coming up to the line, will across the line, does a 1:23.7, so only a slight bit slower than his hot lap.
Only 2.2 seconds, not that big of a difference.
No, not really. But if you look at the top 17, and I'm only saying top 17 because I know Rayner can be in that gap, he's just not. But the top 17 are all separated by, what was it, I think 8.5 tenths, which is just insane. They're all so close together in terms of pace, in terms of performance, and this is how they run down after the qualifying session has ended. So Bullocksan takes pole position by 11 thousandths of a second ahead of Lemon, who sat there very comfortably in the Mercedes in P2. Schwalbe takes P3, albeit just behind him as well, and then Spawny Star is going to take us to the 10th margin in P4. Zones just outside of that in P5 with Beaker there in P6. Ray in P7, then Martin G is getting a little bit further out, 2 tenths now, is P8, and Nick 10 P9, literally 7 thousandths behind him. Bird rounds out the top 10, and Blackbird is the best of the rest. And again, look at that, all the way down to Tinko. 8 tenths separating the top 17 drivers on the grid. We didn't get to see Stefane's time. We know that Rayner has the pace. Now I'm going to ask you probably the hardest question you're going to have today, now that you know that there's rain. Who is in your top 3? 1, 2, and 3. I want it in that exact order. Go.
I don't know. I think do you think that Rayner might have a wet setup because he was nowhere near the time? Do you think there's any chance that Rayner has a wet setup on?
I think a lot of these drivers have got wet setups on. I think Nick Turner and Martin G, they tried to do soft times. It didn't quite work. I mean, I've tried. I did it myself not that long ago. Doing a wet setup on a dry track in qualifying is very difficult. The car feels really sort of like a boat, which obviously is going to in the wet conditions. So I think those that are at the front, and I'm looking at the likes of sort of Bulks and maybe even Lemon to an extent, maybe a little bit out of the depth. I'm looking at Schwalbe as well in that sort of region. Just purely because I think they've gone for that dry tyre setup, and I don't think it's going to work out too well. I could be wrong, completely wrong. But, you know, when you get the impression that those guys like Nick Termine are so far down, and obviously Rain is so far down as well, really kind of gives me the feeling that they know something, and they are practicing, they're preparing for something that might really work out for them when it comes to this race.
Yeah, maybe. It will be interesting to see what happens. We don't know who has what setup and who does what. But it will be interesting to watch these guys in the race because there's a lot of quick drivers. Some will be on dry setup, some will be on wet, so it will be a mixed field.
It really, really will. So Bulksan's going to be leading us round this formation lap here in Germany. You got Lemon's going to be chasing him on the front row of the grid, and that darting towards turn 1 is going to be a very, very important lunge because so many cars making mistakes in these wet conditions straight away off the bat. When you got the line where the lights go out, immediately it's just going to be slip, slip, slip and non-stop tail kicking action. I want to see if anybody can keep it under control, especially with how much torque these cars have got. It's so easy to just get a tank slapper coming off the start line.
Yeah. But with these drivers being so experienced, I think it will be interesting to watch them over the line because I think they will control the car pretty well because they would have practiced a wet start and they'll have experience with starting the wet. So it will be interesting to see who gets the better starts off the line because all this is about skill and experience in the wet.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think a lot of these drivers have all experienced the wet conditions, some of which, and I'm looking at Rainer here, actually excel when it comes to the wet conditions. So I don't know how hard Rainer is going to find this, given the fact that it is Germany. The slipstream is still going to be very powerful here regardless. And obviously the wet conditions make it so it's kind of playing into his hands quite considerably. But we are now about to get underway with the German Grand Prix. As you can see, the final car has just got into the grid box and the lights will start to come on right about now. There it is. And when they go out, it's going to be away here in Germany. There it is, very delayed, but we are finally away. Bulksan has got a pretty solid start. Also looks like Lemon's there as well. Spawny Star's trying to get involved with Schwalbe. It's not quite gone as well as he anticipated, but I take that back because Spawny is up in a P3 and Lemon gets a start of champions into turn 1.
Yeah, Lemon got an amazing drive off the line. No rear end jumping out. Just straight on with business. Got in front of Bulksan and took the corner and owned it.
Bird and Zones had a little bit of a moment there, just had a little bit of a tickle, and Bird loses out quite considerably. It goes all the way down to P13 now. So that is not how you wanted to start your race, but still can pull it all back together. But coming into the hairpin now, you've got the Red Bull there of Schwalbe going side by side with Spawny Star. And I don't know whether he's going to be able to get that position back because Spawny has actually got a better exit. Didn't quite get as much of a wobble as Schwalbe did. And so Martin G, look at that, already gaining positions. 3 places gained for him. He's tied with Camille for the biggest winner. Oh, big mistake there from Spawny. Here comes Schwalbe going round the outside. Managed to get the position. That one mistake cost Spawny. And we might even have Martin G looking for an opportunity coming into it. Now this is going to be a tight one, but he does back out just enough. Tank slapper a little bit, but nothing too serious. Into the stadium complex. Again, another little mistake there from Spawny. Off he goes into the distance and immediately starts losing positions as a result. That is not a good start from Spawny.
Talking about starts, it looks like Lemon's got a flyer off the line. As we said, he took the lead, but he has built a tiny bit of gap, and 0.6 of a second, and then behind Bulksan, he's got another 1 second gap to Schwalbe as Bulksan goes a little bit wide, and that does open the gap a bit more. So Lemon will be loving the start right now.
Yeah, it really will. We've had 2 drivers that have had to go into the pits, one of which has just retired after speeding in the pit lane as well, which is at Nick Turn. Left end plate was what he had damaged on the way into the pit lane, and that's going to be staying true all the way through. Sad news for Nick Turn, immediately leaving the session as well, so clearly not happy. Bird on the back of Ray now then. Is Ray going to be able to defend from this? Bird's looking for the inside line, goes quite heavy on the brakes. He's going to be able to keep the car under control. I think he is actually. So a beautiful send-it move there from Bird, taking that position away from Ray. But Ray's not backing out, has got the outside line, and they are going wheel to wheel. And Bird is the one who wins that battle. Oh, big off. Who's that? Martin G.
Martin G. Oh.
Oh no! Martin G comes back on the track. Really unsafe re-entry there. That was Brownie that gets caught up in that. He's got massive wing damage as a result. Frankie Pies just rotated the car. He's falling down the order as well, off into the grass. So one little mistake there from Martin G cost not only his entire race, but the front wing of Brownie. And the situation gets worse when Frankie Pie's affected as well.
Yeah, and if you look at Brownie, his full right end plate is missing, so he's definitely going to have to pit.
Yeah, there's no way you can navigate around this track, and I think he knows it. Yep, he's coming in a little bit later than necessary, but is still in the pits. Ray is in as well. Not going to be changing any tyre compounds, I don't feel like. That's going to be an interesting situation if he does change. Yeah, there you go, another set of inters on the car. So I don't think it's wet conditions just yet. I think it's still intermediate tyres, but we'll keep an eye out for that. Blackbird is chasing his teammate, the Chosen Bird. He's looking for an opportunity on him. Spax, Game, and Tinko swapping places. Copy's trying to defend from Raider, who sent it down the inside. Big contact there from Spax and Tinko, but I don't think Spax got any wing damage. No, he's still good, but Tinko's right there on the back of Rayner. Rayner's trying to hunt down Copy. Again, no DRS because it's too wet for that situation, but Rayner's got the slipstream. Tinko's got 2 cars worth of slipstream, looking for the inside line into the hairpin. Rayner's going to have to defend hard, and Tinko knows he can go for this, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's got the line, gets the position, doesn't quite get the exit that he was hoping for. That's what's allowing Rayner to stay in this, and I'm seeing left end plate damage on Tinko's car, but Tinko prevails even with the face of adversity, holding him back. He's done it.
Yeah, that was great driving from Tinko, holding back the driver. You can see a little bit of damage. Actually, it's quite a bit of damage. But he's managing to hold back Rayner, who is a very good driver, made up 7 positions. And they are battling, well, they're both the highest gainer. So, oh, and there goes Tinko. Tinko's off.
Yeah, it's a big sad for Tinko. He was doing well, managed to bring himself properly into this, and yeah, that little mistake there just cost him. I think he's going to be coming to the pits. He knows the wing is too important in these conditions. You need the grip, and he just doesn't have it. So yeah, crawling his way back in. It will give Ray the opportunity to get back in this a fair bit. Is P15 is quite the way off of the rest of the pack as it stands, but that doesn't mean anything in Germany because this is a track that really demands a lot from the driver when it comes to exit speeds, and especially in the wet conditions, you can't afford to make even a slight mistake. Turn 1 is very well known to destroy you, as Bird is trying to send it down the inside of Spawny, and I think he's done it. Beautiful braking. Oh, turned into him. Spawny just turned into Bird. Bird's actually going to hold him back now. That's good. Bird still gets the position, but Spawny just gets a little bit aggressive. I don't know if he just got caught out, not necessarily knowing he was there, but Zones is all over the back of Schwalbe. This is getting exciting because Zones is going to be getting the inside line, but Schwalbe defends just about right. Gets the inside for the next corner, and Zones has to hope that he has got the pace. I think we might even be going towards wet conditions now.
Yeah, it looks like we're teetering on the edge of the wet conditions. You can see people on the inter sliding everywhere, going on the grass, picking up dirt. It's just turning into a bit of a mess now. And with Lemon slowly but surely building up the gap, sets another fastest lap. It doesn't look like anyone will be competing with him in these conditions if he keeps up this pace.
I mean, we expected Martin G to be up there as well, actually scrapping with him, trying to battle with the podium runners. But currently, obviously, Martin G's out. He had a major mistake, a very unsafe re-entry to the track, and that caused a major collision between him and Brownie. That's why Brownie is so far down now. Obviously, Brownie went into the side of him unintentionally, and that was the end of Martin G's race. I think Martin G probably knows that was a bit of an oof, but you know, it is what it is. We move forwards, not look backwards, and that's exactly what Blackbird is trying to do. Although he's forcing Spawny to look backwards because he's got to keep an eye on his mirrors to make sure that there isn't a Haas sandwich that's about to go on him. It's already happening. Spawny is the meat fill in. He needs to get out of it as soon as possible.
I'll tell you, the main person who's impressing me with their driving skills so far is Beaker. Beaker is in P3. He's up from 6th to 3rd. This is an amazing drive so far.
Yeah, Beaker's really stepped his game up quite considerably, especially here in these conditions. Normally, it's a sort of track you would expect drivers to make mistakes, and Beaker is not one to be immune to that. And obviously, Beaker's now only 3.4 seconds off of Lemon and Bulksan. We know Lemon is the sort of driver who tends to get penalties for just extending track limits maybe a little bit too much. And on a track like this, where turn 1 is so easy to get penalised for it, he's done exceptionally well to hold that. Bogsan sets the fastest lap. And Spawny and Bird are still chasing. Bird's actually going to go moving on Zones in towards turn 1. This is going to be a tie one. We might even get a penalty situation, but no, Zones backs out. Bird manages to keep himself within the track limits. I think Rain has made a mistake. No, he's got his back end kicking out a little bit. Tinko's okay. So I think, yeah, it was exactly that. Copy. And Frankie Price swapped places as well.
Yeah, this is great driving from everyone on the grid so far. Beaker and Peefy just have a 2.6 second gap behind him, so he is just trying to drive around, set decent times, and just trying to keep it all together. But Rainer picks up a 3-second penalty. It's not going to affect his position, but it's not what you want right now.
Well, he also made a major mistake through turn 1. Somehow he's managed to keep his car alive, but I think he does have wing damage. Yes, he does. That is a very broken wing there. No end plates on either side. Definitely going to be needing to limp it round to the pits. Zones is scrapping. There's a big battle going on for P5. Bird has lost out. Zones just slips down the inside. Really faked him out a little bit there. And Bird's actually trying to come back at him. This is going to be ambitious, but he's just about... Oh, he's forced him off. Zones has been sent off into the gravel. It was just a little bit too much elbow. No damage on either car, but that was just a little bit too much of a nudge from Bird into Zones. It just puts Zones into the gravel, it looked like. And I mean, he's still in this. The battle's not over yet. Spawny Star is still scrapping. Actually, Zones is going to go for an undercut.
Yeah, that was nearly an amazing move into the double right-hander for the second right-hander. Tries to go up the inside of Blackbird, unable to make it stick, but it was nearly a move of the century.
It could have been, it would have been, but it wasn't. And that's the situation that Zones is finding himself in now. He's in the pits, P12 right now, just getting himself another set of tyres. I don't think he's got any wing damage. No, he doesn't. So it's a quick little pit stop there. Going again. He's actually going to be battling with Ray as Ray comes round the corner. Penalty there for Brownie. I think he just ran a bit deep through that corner. Didn't quite maintain the pace he needed to, and actually ran a little bit too wide, I think is more the problem. But still, he's okay. Just needs to maintain the pressure, maintain the consistency, and don't get any more penalties.
Yeah, and Spawny makes a little mistake and gives the drivers in front a 1.5 second gap. So that's not what you want as Rainer retires from the session. You can see he's not happy with what's just happened.
Yeah, I think it was a few mistakes from Rainer's side that I think just cost him to be in that mentality. Once you get in that mentality, it's so hard. It literally is what separates the men from the boys, and ultimately, I think when you get into that mentality, if you can't break out of it, he's done the right thing. Just take a step out of it and, retire the car, get yourself refreshed, reminded, and come back into another race. Just have a good evening overall. So Ray is currently chasing up after Zones. There's a 10-second gap between Zones and Stefanator, so Zones has got no slipstream to work with. But to be honest, in this situation, I think he's just trying to keep the car pointing in the right direction and just properly enjoy himself. Someone who is enjoying himself is Lemon, who's being chased by Bulkzan. Bulkzan's only 9/10ths behind, actually. It's really quite good. Oh, Zones is back into the pits again. I don't think that was intentional. I think he came around the second to last corner, rotated the rear of the car a little bit too much, and ended up finding himself back into the pits. So, one out lap, straight back in again. I think he's also going to need a front wing this time. Yes, he does. A lot of damage. So Zones' race is pretty much over. Unless a lot of drivers crash out and we might see a safety car. That's what he's hoping now, is a safety car.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could be waiting for years with a safety car. I haven't seen a safety car in a long time in this game. But Spax Gamer on the back of Copy, looking for P9, trying to double up his point situation. 4/10ths is the gap currently to Copy, and I think ultimately it's all in Spax's hands whether or not this goes well for either of them, as Blackbird is also trying to chase down the Chosen Bird and show him that he is the chosen one, not the other way around.
That's a pun and a half, but yeah. So
thanks for that.
what I've noticed is that Beaker has gained half a second onto the back of Bolton as Schwalbe picks up a 3-second penalty. It's not what he's needing right now, especially when Blackbird, not Chosen Bird, is very 4 seconds, 4.3 seconds actually, from the back of Schwalbe. You don't want a penalty right now. But
No.
bit by bit, Beaker is catching onto the back of Bulkson.
Yeah, he really is. It's actually working out for him. And Bulksan just suddenly seems to have turned off. I mean, look at that. Beaker's just gained on him quite considerably, and Bulksan's also lost pace to Lemon quite considerably. So now outside of, if it was dry conditions, outside of DRS range. So, yeah, not really going to make that much of a difference. Is easy for him to fix that, I guess. Just maintain pace as before, see what you can deliver, and then go again. Frankie Pie again onto the back of Spawny Star, who's just sort of hanging in there nicely in P7. Nothing too drastic so far throughout his race. Everything's gone quite swimmingly. Brownie and Ray, though, they're having a good old scrap. Ray trying to get around the outside of Brownie. I think Brownie sent it down the inside. Look at this. It's bringing Camille into this. He's looking for an opportunity. Brownie's going to go defensive. There's not a great deal he could do about it. Camille's going around the outside. He's got the inside for the next one. Brownie needs to maintain the pace. He needs to try and apply pressure. There's contact between the two, and Camille gets a little bit of a shake. Ray, with the lightning fast reflexes, manages to dodge the Toro Rosso, but still loses that position. Camille still hunting down Brownie.
Yep, this is very close between those guys. Camille, he will be going after Brownie. The Toro Rosso going after the Williams. But if you look behind, you do have the Mercedes, which is chasing down the both of them.
Yeah, Ray's trying to bring himself a bit closer to this, get himself back into some points after a pretty rough start to this Grand Prix. Did not go well for him off the beginning. Ended up having to pit a lot earlier, and it's just got a little bit worse with that 3-second time penalty. Again, like I said, turn 1 is just the main killer for it. If you can keep it clean, you can almost guarantee you're going to gain at least a place or two, just purely on the penalties alone, because it's so easy to get a penalty through turn 1. It requires precision every single lap to not get a penalty at all. And you got 34 laps on this track. That's not a small ask at all. Spawny Star still hunting down the chosen bird, and he's no longer the meat filling in that sandwich, but still not the greatest place to be. P7, I wanted to try and take P5 from these boys if possible. It is still the battle for P5 if you think about it, because Frankie Pie is right there on the back of them as well, half a second behind. Not really a gap to worry about too much, especially with no DRS, but if it's suddenly dried up, which it doesn't look like it's going to be doing anytime soon, then it would be definitely something to worry about. Beaker is really turning the heat up. 1:24.649 is the new fastest lap, and he's breaking that gap down on Bulksan.
Yeah, and that's some rapid pace from Beaker. It's now not even 2 seconds now, just below 2 seconds. But this is some rapid pace we're seeing from Beaker, and this is what we want to see.
I haven't seen this from Beaker in a long time. Beaker used to be someone I could look to every race to see him up there in the top 3, and then he would just, I don't know, he seemed to fall apart towards the beginning of 2019. It's taken him a long time to really pick the game up and sort of adapt to it. But here comes Frankie Pie down the inside of Spawny Star into the hairpin. Spawny Star sees him coming, goes for the cutback, gets a better exit, but a little bit of a wobble there, a little contact as well, and Frankie Pie will get that P7 away from him, and already starting to size up Bird and making sure that he can go for it. Spawny Star's trying to get the cutback on him again, didn't work out at all. But still, right there, anything can happen, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, definitely anything can happen in these conditions, especially with it like this. Mediums with the rain still coming down heavily, not looking like it's going to dry up. But Stefanator, he's came from 19th to 11th, so great drive from him so far.
Yeah, it's been helped by the fact there's been 3 DNFs, so obviously you come from dead last, you're going to gain something at least if that happens. But yeah, not taking anything away from his drive, bringing himself into this a bit more than was before, 3 seconds off of being in a points position, but you got a long way to go for the rest of this Grand Prix. Still got 14 laps, I believe, in the 22 laps, can't count, don't even know why I said 14, but anyway, moving on. Camille looking for Brownie. They were very close earlier. There was almost a moment where they actually were touching. It wasn't too, obviously nothing to worry about. I think there might be wing damage. Oh, no, never mind. I thought Camille might be missing an end plate, but he's actually, almost caused a whole car crash there, but he's all right. And the birds are still scrapping.
Yep. They are still scrapping the 2 teammates. Not looking like what they want to do right now.
I mean, honestly, I think both of them have been driving incredibly well. I mean, Blackbird's obviously currently the better of the 2, but only because he's physically ahead right now. But, I mean, who knows? Chosen Bird could just be biding his time and really sort of just thinking, all right, that's fine, you go ahead for now, I'll stay in the slipstream. They could even be working together. The way they were battling earlier, I highly doubt that. There was very little opportunity for him to really... very close there between Camille and Brownie. Almost sent Brownie into the back of him. Bogsan though improves, and then Beaker just immediately sits him down. Says, take a rest, have a good evening, because I'm hunting your position down. I want P2. And as we come towards the pit window, that could very easily change. Frankie Pie says, guys, remember, I'm here.
Yep, and he does. Frankie Pie not letting them forget about him, because he is very close to them. Only a second away, so very close, within the range of overtaking within a couple of laps if he does do some solid pace.
So more penalties on the board, not what you want to be seeing, especially from the likes of Zones. I mean, he's had a really rough race, to say the least. But, you know, it doesn't affect your consistency as long as you maintain your composure and just carry on doing the normal time trial laps that you've been doing before. Not necessarily the same pace, but, you know, if you've done a fair bit of practice for this, even in the wet conditions, you can really maintain good laps. I mean, I saw Stephanie there coming around the hairpin, just lost the back end, just a little touch. Nothing too drastic, but it's those little mistakes where you just take that little bit of extra rubber off the tyres and you lose more grip, you lose that little bit of confidence in the car, and then you're just starting a downhill spiral of doom as the birds are still going at it and Blackbird makes a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, Blackbird just made that tiny mistake, which does mean that Chosen Bird's now within, well, it was half a second, now it's went to... Oh, that's a bit of a mistake. Ray picks up another penalty. That's not what you want. Where it's not going to change him. But Frankie Pie definitely not letting them forget about him because he does set the fastest lap.
Not only that, he's actually brought himself right onto the slipstream of the Haas drivers now. Double cars worth of slipstream will be effective for Frankie Pie. Keep an eye on him now as we come in the run up towards the hairpin. There's going to be very much an opportunity for him to send it down the inside of Bird.
Yes, and it looks like it's going to be.
I think he might actually just be a little bit too far back. This is going to be a maintenance period. Just going to be looking after his ERS, I think. Just trying to make sure he's got enough for when he comes to the... I actually saw him going to neutral air by accident. He caught it again, but that can seriously affect the performance of the car. You could very easily, when you go back into gear 1, just suddenly engage it, rotate the car. Obviously that didn't happen, but very much a doable situation if that slight mistake is made.
Yeah, just a tiniest mistake can cause a big problem in racing, and I think that's what a couple of drivers might find out in this race.
Well, the birds have swapped places. Chosen Bird managed to get around the outside of Blackbird, who just looked a little bit uncomfortable there, to say the least. And already he's under attack. We've got race leader in the pits, and we've also got Beaker following him in as well. I don't think we're going to have any of the Haas drivers in. No, they're staying out, so they're going to be looking to take as long a stint as they can on these. Maybe go for a shorter one on the next one. Tinko's retired, so another driver out of this Grand Prix, and not a good stuff for him.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see Tinko out of the Grand Prix already, as he was a quick driver and he was doing well in the race. It's just unfortunate to see him drop down to 16th. He did start 17th, so he still gained pace technically, but it's not how you want to finish it.
No, definitely not. Actually, look at Beaker. Actually going past Copy already. So immediately up in a P7 in the run up towards the hairpin. This is great stuff to see Beaker in his core element. Now the question is, has Bulksan made a mistake staying out for as long as he has? Stays out for an additional lap, obviously when race leader, which was Lemon, pitted. Question is now, Beaker was closing in on him before. Now he's got fresh tyres. Yeah, they're going to take a lap or so to properly warm up, but Bulksan's going to do that lap a lap later if he decides to pit now. If he stays out another lap, he's definitely made a mistake in my books.
Yeah, there's no way he can stay out another lap, but that's what he's done.
Yep, staying out. So clearly knows something we don't as it stands. Is that gap just going to get worse for him? Looking at the gap to leader right now, and it's 16.7 seconds, the gap between him and Bulksan. I think Bulksan loses quite drastically here.
Yeah, and it does look that way.
So
Yeah.
Bird's in, gone to fresh intermediate tyres as well, going out again, trying to improve the pace and lap times. Frankie Pie is in P3, hunting down Blackbird as it stands. Remember, this is not net P3, this is gross P3. As you can see, he's The top 4 have not yet pit, and you've also got 7, 8, and 9 who've also not pit yet as well. So expect Schwalbe to climb up, Bird to come back up there. Brownie, he's even technically still up there as well. Even with all that wing damage that he had earlier, he's really chucked down some lap times, brought himself closer to him, and Blackbird under attack from Frankie. Spawny might even try and get involved in this as well.
Yeah, let's see what happens. He might try and get involved, but will he be able to? That's the question.
Whoa, look how close Frankie is on the back of Blackbird. Blackbird looks really uncomfortable right now. I don't think I've seen Blackbird look this uncomfortable ever. Frankie, though, is still loving life, even though he's done such a long stint on these tyres. 15 laps, same as the other drivers around him, but he's just managing it so much better. Wait until you see Frankie on brand new intermediate tyres. I think that's when we're going to see him really come into his element.
Yeah, I think that is when we're going to see... Oh, yep, which one was that? It looks like it was Blackbird into the pit. But Bulksan is still staying out.
I mean, the Beaker saying the fastest lap has really got to strike fear into Bulksan. You know, he was already catching you anyway, and now you're in a situation where you're seeing him chucking in these ridiculous lap times. The question is, have you made that mistake? I think he has, because even Frankie is gaining on him. It was 15 seconds earlier was the gap between P1 and P2, and they hadn't pit. Now it's dropped to 13.2. If we look at the gap to leader, because he's still hovering about 16 seconds, but that can easily change at the drop of a hat, and I think it's about to. Well, if you look at the two Red Bull drivers, they're going side by side in towards the hairpin. There's going to be a tie one, but Stephanator is going to be the one who doesn't get the position. I think he actually lost out there. I think he was P8 and lost out just to Schwalbe, who's pulling away quite nicely now. Lemon coming in on Spawny. 3 tenths is the gap between him. Beaker's only 1.6 seconds off of Lemon as well, so it's not actually... Oh, I thought he was going to send it there, but no, he's managed to... I think he scared him to make him think he was going to go for it, but no. Stays where he is. Spawny's made a mistake. Lemon can't capitalize on it. Spawny will hold on to P3, and Lemon's just going to have to bide his time.
Yep, that is going to happen. Folks, and you can see the gap to Frankie that doesn't really matter. But if we look at gap to leader, Beaker, he's within, I think it's 15 seconds of the leader. So, yeah, he looks like he is going to gain the position on him.
Yeah, I think Bullock's made a big mistake there. Unless he's got some, I don't know, incredible pace coming towards the end of this Grand Prix. We are over the halfway mark now in terms of the tyre, in terms of the race. So obviously 17 laps means you would have done it. I think that's what Bullock's was kind of hoping to, is go 17 laps in, go onto those tyres. But here comes Lemon looking for it in the braking zone. Very late braking in these conditions, and still manages to get through down the inside. Puts Spawny on the outside there. He gave him enough room, I think, just about. Lemon is still P2, but Spawny's looking for an opportunity. Gets the line through, but doesn't get the inside line. If he can maintain the position all the way around the outside, which he's trying to do, Lemon's just squeezing him to the outside, and Lemon gets P2 again. Spawny gets left high and dry, which is ironic because it's pouring it down right now on this track, and Spawny will have to just settle for P3 right now. Although when he pits, that's going to be a severe drop down the field.
Yeah, it will be a massive drop down the field when he pits. And even though he's been driving great all race, he is going to get a bit of payback when he pits, because he will drop more positions than he will have gained.
Yep, indeed. Schwalbe closing in on Copy. 4 tenths is the gap between him. That's Ray, who's retired from the session. I think he actually retired on the way up towards the hairpin. Safety car has been deployed. So, this is a lifesaver for anybody who has not yet pit. We're looking at the likes of Bulksan, who, I mean, the thing is, he's going to lose. Where is he on the track? He's at the hairpin. This could work out for him because the safety car has only just come out. Isn't quite anywhere else. He's got the delta to worry about, which is why he's going so slowly. But the gap is 20 seconds to Lemon. There's an opportunity here for Bullocksan to properly get in and get out again and still hold a decent position.
Yeah, there is still a chance of him gaining a decent position, but Bullocksan on my screen was just going half throttle down the straight.
Yeah, it's because he's got to worry about the delta. With the fact that the safety car's out, he has to manage the delta, make sure he doesn't go too fast. In a safety car conditions, you have to drop your speed by, I think you have to go all the way down to 40% of worth of speed. So it's no surprise that that is the case. Interesting to see that Zones has gone in and come out again on the medium compound tyres. It's either the biggest gamble I've ever seen in my life, or he's just doing it for the memes. But Bulkzan in, 22.8 seconds is the gap to Lemon. Has Bulkzan done enough to... I don't think he's got enough to stay out in P1, but he might have done enough to get out in front of Beaker.
Especially with the safety car.
I might be wrong. Bulkzan might actually have pit, and
What?
he has. Bulkzan. Make sure when you finish this race, Bulkzan, you go and buy yourself a lottery ticket, because you have absolutely lucked in here. I have never seen that happen, where you manage to pit and get back into race lead position, especially against the likes of Lemon, who is just rapid in almost all circumstances. Yes, the pack is going to bunch up, so Lemon's got the opportunity to attack him, but that is perfect.
Wow, that's amazing driving there.
I think throughout, I think Bulkzan was like, I've made a mistake, I've made a mistake, I've made a mistake. Safety car comes out, I've been saved, I've been saved, I've been saved, and I just chucked himself in the pits, gets out very swiftly, and straight onto the intermediate tyres, and he still maintains race lead. Zones is out on the mediums. I'm not sure. Feel like this is a big mistake.
Yeah, it might well be.
I'm baffled by how well Bulkzan looked in there. That is incredible. 14 laps remaining of the session. Obviously, the safety car is going to be out for, I think, at least one more lap. So the remainder of this one, I think, will be at the end of the next one is when it will come in. But, you know, you got Bulkzan P1, Lemon P2, Spawny P3, and Beaker, who did a perfectly timed lap. Came in at the same time as Lemon. Got out pretty quickly. Chucked in some fastest laps, but the timing of the safety car just really played into the hands. The one worry I do have is Spawny and Copy are 19 laps in on these intermediate tyres. They still have to pit. That's not going to be changing. Has Copy made a mistake? Yeah, he had. Schwaber is right there with him. 20 laps now on these inters. There's surely no way he can go to the end on these.
Surely he can't.
13 more laps. Well, I mean, you'd have done the whole race on the same set of inters. There has to be no way that can work, right? That's got to be puncture territory in about 4 or 5 more laps. I'm worried for them, to be honest. I'm actually... I don't... No, there's no way they're making it to the end of this race if that happens. Copy... I'm surprised by Copy, though. He's usually got the strategy down to a T, but today it just feels like without his right-hand man at Nickturn by his side, it just feels like something's gone drastically wrong for Copy.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate to see that.
Yeah, it is quite considerably. Okay, well, I mean, they're going to prove us wrong, really, aren't they? That's the situation we're in right now. Is Copy going to be able to take it far enough? The thing is, the only way this plays out for him perfectly, and again, it'll be a similar lottery situation to what Bulkzan had, is if the rain stops in the next couple of laps. If it does, and they go to softs, then perfect. But you haven't really got any advantage right now. You are on the level terms with everyone else around you, and the person who's in the best position for it, or people, should I say, are Bulkzan and Spaxgamer, as they have just pit. I mean, Bulkzan's even better situation because he can really pin this down. The lap isn't a long one. It's only a minute 11 if he was in dry conditions. If you're in wet conditions, we're talking, what was it, 120s? What was it? Yeah, 123s, 124s. So you're not really going to lose too much time if you did decide to stay out another lap or not. But that one little mistake could cost you that if your name is Beaker.
Yeah, it definitely could. And it would be a shame if it did, because he has drove brilliantly.
So, this will be the lap. I believe that the safety car comes in. We'll keep an eye out on Bulkzan for the restart, because everything is in his hand. He's played this perfectly. His strategy couldn't have worked out better for him if he tried. I honestly believe it was completely accidental. I don't believe he intended for any of this to happen. I mean, how can you predict a safety car, right? Even in wet conditions. In F1 2019, the safety car is far less frequent, and I have seen I've seen no safety cars for far worse crashes than what we saw from Ray Ray. So Bulksan really has it all to play for. Lemon right there on the back of him. Spawny Star, who is in an interesting position with these seriously old intermediate tyres. I actually want to go on board with Beaker, see if we can get a close-up of Spawny Star's tyres. I want to see if you can see very clear degradation on it. There is a little line there, it looked like, on the centre of the rears. I don't know if I'm just losing my mind. I ain't got my glasses on, so I'm not entirely sure. Safety cars in this lap, like I said. So we are about to get back underway. Yeah, there it is. I can see it. So there is a degree of wear on Spawny's tyres. Don't expect a good restart from him, but expect a good restart from Bulksan. 2 laps in on the intermediate tyres, and they were safety car laps. So everything is here for Bulksan. Lemon knows it. He's just trying to sit on the back of him. Oh, careful now. We can get penalties very easily. Bulksan controls its restart. Spax Gamer gets a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. And Bulksan's trying to sell the dummy to Lemon. Going very delayed. And there he goes. Off. Bulksan starts this race once more. Lemon chasing him down. Spawny's in the pits. Beaker's in the pits. Don't know if he got wing damage. Why is he in the pits? Oh, I mean, surely he's not going to dry condition tyres. Let's have a look. What they got? Are they soft or mediums? That was dry. There's mediums going on. Mediums are being put on the cars now. Beaker's gone for the play. He's gone for the dry compound tyre. This will make or break Beaker's race.
Yeah, this will.
Copy on the attack from Schwalbe. Schwalbe is going to be looking for an opportunity all the way in towards the hairpin. Copy's gone defensive pretty solidly. He's not actually going to lose his position unless Schwalbe gets a really good run around the outside, which he is doing. There comes the inside of Frankie Pie on Blackbird. Gets a big sending move. He's actually not going to be gaining anything from this. Schwalbe's got past Copy. Frankie Pie cannot get the job done just yet. He's got the outside line on a corner that you can't really take too well. Although Blackbird's gone seriously deep and gone off the track. Loses 2 places almost, as there's Camille trying to get involved in this situation as well. Not going to be able to gain anything too much from this. Here he comes down the inside as well, in towards the entry to stadium. Blackbird's gone deep. He's gone off into the gravel. A little bit of a move there from Camille in towards Zuns. Zuns is looking for the inside line. He's got it. This is getting insane. He's on the mediums, by the way. Just pointed out, he's P6 medium compound tyres, and he looks like he's flying. Everyone's in. Everyone's in the pits except Bulksan and Lemon. They've stayed out. They are the ones who are still trying to commit on the intermediate tyres. Zone sets fastest lap on the mediums, so he is really chucking it all down now. Schwalbe's in, Copy's in, Frankie Pie's in, Camille's in, Brownie's in, Blackbird's in, everybody's in, and now we're going to see if this paid off for the likes of Beaker. And I think Beaker might have just secured himself a P2.
And that would be good if he has, because it looks like everyone's in the pits. He's already on the tyres that he wants to be on. This might have paid off perfectly, because the rain's completely stopped and the track's dry.
Well, it's drying. I mean, I don't think we've had DRS being re-enabled yet, I don't believe. I could be wrong. Let's quickly go to Schwalbe and find out. No, we do not. So that's the main thing to look for. It's still damp. I think we're about to see it come back on again. Copy's going defensive against Schwalbe for another time into the hairpin. This time Schwalbe's got the inside line. Copy's stuck on the outside high and dry, but Copy has got a much better line of pace through there and immediately comes straight back out again. Stefanator has decided that the soft compound tyre is the tyre of choice for him. He's looking for that line where he can. And it's not going to be a good one, as how it stands right now. Frankie Pie is out on the mediums as well. Brownie is being chased down by him. But Lemon's in trouble is what he's in. Oh, big contact between him and Spawny. It's not worked out for Lemon at all. He's sliding everywhere. Spawny gets sent off to the outside, and I think that might be the big issue for him. Bulksan, who looked like he was so well off by getting the perfect safety car pit stop, has now had the risk of going onto intermediates and stayed out too long. In he comes, out he goes. Spawny's retired from the session, and you can see Bulksan falling down the order very, very swiftly, along with Lemon.
That's very unfortunate. Lemon's had a good race so far, got an amazing quali, but he's down in 12th. It's not what you want right now.
Oh, look at this big move from Bird, going right around the outside of Beaker in towards the hairpin. Did not work out for him as well as he thought, but that was a very late braking from him, and he's looking for the line. He's looking for the slipstream on Beaker, and now Beaker knows the time to get moving is right now, because yes, you're in P2, and yes, you had a really good strategy call, and you're very happy with yourself, but you're 7.5 seconds behind race leader, and you're not going to gain that win if you don't get your motors on. And Bird is trying to take that second place away from him as quickly as possible.
Yep, and that's what he will be doing right now. He's trying to take that gap away, but will he be able to take away fast enough?
The zone says the fastest lap, 1:16.009, is the fastest we're going to see for a while. And we got Camille trying to hunt down Copy. There's battles starting to form everywhere. There's a battle for P8. Beaker is... How is Stephanie ahead of Beaker all of a sudden? Beaker's lagged out. Beaker's lagged back. Oh no! Beaker's got the host lobby glitch.
Yep, he has.
That is so unfortunate. He was running for P2 and then people just kept leaving, and that is so unfortunate for Beaker. He had the perfect strategy call. It just didn't work out for him. Codemasters just don't want him to get on the podium, it seems. But Camille wants to try and get himself up into a P5, going around the outside of Copy, who's very much struggling right now. Here we go again. Copy loses out, and that is not how he wanted that to pan out. Zones is still winning. Bird has got himself a P2, pretty much cemented now, as it's 2 seconds back for Stephanator. Camille is still fighting for P5, moving up towards P4 as he's within the DRS range of him. Blackbird is looking for Brownie.
You've got to feel for Beaker, though. That's such a shame. He had the perfect drive. He was driving amazingly. He keeps joining back and disconnecting again. But you've got to feel for Beaker. Chosen Bird in second, and Stephanator drive your 16 places made.
Yeah. He's really, really done well to bring himself into this. Now the question is, though, is he going to be able to do far enough on those softs? This track does tend to destroy them. And I'm looking at Beaker right now, just seeing what he can chuck in. He might be able to get himself back into the points positions. I mean, we're looking at him battling with what was race leader for quite a while, and he pulled off the God tier strategy. But Beaker's ERS has just been destroyed. His race pace has just been destroyed as a result. And that's not going to stop him from being committed. There's no doubt about it. But that's not going to change anything, considering he was just running in for P2 and it all got taken away from him so swiftly.
Yeah, and that's probably the worst way to lose a race. Lose a race.
Well, podium at least, yeah. I mean, he wasn't going to get zones, we know that. 7.5 seconds of what it was before, and Bird's just adopted that position right now. And yeah, you got to feel for Beaker. That did not work out for him at all. It's not his fault, even slightly. Just... one of the major issues with the game is that the host lobby glitch does cost you. Bird saying the fastest lap time, he's also looking for that extra point. But when you got those drivers behind there on these new dry tyres, they are absolutely going to be flying. I think we're going to be seeing another fastest lap soon. I think Lemon might even say, oh, man, my Bulksan's going to set it first. Beaker can't beat it. Is it going to be Lemon to beat it? Here it comes to the line. It's not. So Bulksan holds the fastest lap for now. He's in the top 10, so he'll gain that point. It's as if he just finished his P9.
Yeah, and Beaker, he's now driving as fast as he can, trying to make up as much ground as possible, but it's just not going to be enough.
No, Brownie was actually on the back of Copy there. Could have actually gone for a move on Copy had he just got a little bit more ambitious. It was not a bad move to take. He just felt a little bit uncomfortable, I think. I don't know if he hasn't got wing damage, so he's got every bit of grip, a little bit a bit of lack of confidence, I think, is the words I was actually looking for in the car right now. He doesn't quite feel like he can attack Copy at all, so he's just going to settle for a P7, or at least that's how it seems right now. But if Copy makes a slight mistake, Brownie will be there and ready to go.
Yeah, Brownie will be ready to bounce on any opportunity he can get. He's currently sitting very close on the back of Copy, only half a second. So it is interesting watching these guys.
It is indeed. Oh, Brownie again, time penalty, just ran a little bit deep, and that's bringing Blackbird into this. Look at this. He's right there on the back of him. He's actually going to get a lot of slipstream from every car ahead. In fact, even if he gets past Brownie, he's going to have slipstream and DRS from Copy. and he knows it, but he has lost a lot of time there. Brownie on the back of Copy now, DRS wide open. He's going to go around the outside up towards the inside of the hairpin. He's a full car ahead. Copy's going to have to pull off a really good run in order to get this. Goes for the cutback. It almost worked out for him, but Brownie gets a much better run, and now Copy has to set his sights in his mirrors because he has a very quick Haas chasing him down as we're coming to, I guess this is a hairpin in towards the left of it. He's going for the inside line and has to back out. Good heads-up driving there from Blackbird. Sees an opportunity, posts the letter to say, keep an eye out, I'm coming for it. And Copy respects that, gives him room, and Blackbird just has to sit back just a little bit for now.
Yeah, Blackbird just has to sit back and wait for the opportunity. Yep, that's what he is doing right now. As we have Chosen Bird up in second, his teammate, as we saw them battling earlier.
Yeah.
But we've seen who's currently in front, which is Chosen Bird. As you said, he wants to be the chosen one, and that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is the bird that's flying as well, and that's great news for him. He's really demonstrating his abilities and what he can do given these changing conditions, and it worked out for him perfectly. He timed that the change to the dries almost as good as Zones, except Zones has just nailed it. I mean, the thing is, when he changed to mediums, he was like, no, this guy's insane. There's no way that's going to work out. And I think he also got lucky with the safety car coming out when it did. He was able to come out 5 laps in when the race restarted. Everybody chucked themselves in, and he just carried on. He was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll just take this. I'll just take the race win." So Zones, we have the god tier pit stop strategy, and we've seen 2 of those happen now. Bulksan managed to get in the pits and get out again. I think the only way that could have been perfect, even more for Bulksan, is if he'd have gone onto the medium tires. But I don't think he predicted that the weather was going to dry as quickly as it did.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was predicting it to dry this quickly. Even we thought that it wasn't going to dry before the end of the race, but it took a switch in conditions very quick. And Biga is right on the back of Bulksan, so he will be trying to make up at least that position.
Blackbird flapping his wings, chasing down Copy, trying to show him that he has the flight path. And there, Copy goes a little bit deep in towards turn 2. That's not how you want it to be. And immediately, look at this. Copy is worried because he knows the Haas driver is coming for him. And look at the pace he's chucking down. Mode 4 and the ERS says, I want to get this position taken as quickly as possible as we come into the hairpin one more time. Copy's been in this position far too many times this race. And immediately, look at that. Frankie Pie goes for the inside, doesn't work out, gets his nose a little bit too deep into Copy's car there. And the Papaya manages to hold him back only just, but Frankie Pie loses his position. And now both racing points are fighting for the final point.
Yeah, and it looks like they are. But Biga, he is looking rapid right now. He's straight on the back of Frankie Pie as soon as possible. And he is looking to try and make this position. He may have disconnected, but it is unfortunate.
Who you have?
What's right?
Are you heard about Biga?
What?
Who's disconnected?
No, I'm saying Biga had disconnected.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, I see. Oh, Blackbird soaring through the skies. Gets the fastest lap, but immediately then gets a 3-second time penalty to go with it as well. So that's not good news at all. Blackbird is still there with Brownie, though, looking for a P6 opportunity if possible. Brownie, I don't think, has many penalties. I know he definitely has at least one. And you can see the sister Red Bulls, they're fighting. And Camille gets P4. Schwalbe is chasing him down. And I just saw a brief... Oh, I saw a lock up there from Camille. That's what I saw. Schwalbe can't capitalize on it. Blackbird's looking for Brownie. Not an opportunity there. But I am seeing that big fiery inferno in the sky is actually starting to beam down onto the track. Here comes Blackbird trying to stick his beak in there. It doesn't quite get it out, but his wing is still intact. Brownie, on the other hand, is looking a little bit pressured, a little bit hot and flustered. Whether it's the sun that's affecting him or whether or not it's just the pressure that's getting to him. Oh, Blackbird just gets a little touch in the gravel, keeping it together now in the stadium complex. Has to keep focused, has to keep applying pressure.
Yep, and he does have to keep the pressure as much as possible because that's what you need to do, especially coming into the last couple of laps of the race. Lap 33 and 34, you need to try as much pressure as possible. Try and make the move as Biga's going to have a look through an up the inside round the right-hander. Will he be able to make a stick, though? I think Frankie Pie's going to let him go, so he does get the DRS for the straight. Yep, Pika is in a position where he is going to have to maybe give it up.
Yeah, Beaker worked hard to get that position, and yeah, it was good that he did, but at the same time, he's now put himself in a pickle, like you say. He's going to have to take the outside line here in the hairpin. I mean, they've raced really... Oh, there's a bit of touch and go there between the two. Beaker almost manages to get that move stuck on Frankie Pie, but a little bit of wheels just getting a little bit stuck together. Maybe No More Nails was involved in that situation, but I think they managed to unstick themselves as Beaker's trying to close down on Frankie Pie. It's not going out as well as he wanted to. Camille trying to get onto the back of the Stefanator, show him who he is and how good he can be. But Camille, as we come towards the final lap, we are now on the final lap, sorry. I think Camille might actually be able to get this final podium set.
Yeah, he might be able to actually get it, and that will be interesting, but Stefanator won't be giving it up easily. He's worked so hard for this podium. He's made up so many positions. He's made up 16 positions, and he won't be willing to give someone this position very easily.
I don't think he's going to have much of a choice. I think he's about to lose 2 places because look at this. You got the Toro Rosso going on through and towing him through is Schwaber. Look at his line he's taking. They're going so quickly up towards the hairpin. This is going to be really tense into the braking zone. It looks like Schwaber's going to go send it deep into it. Camille's going to get put on the outside, but Camille's got a better line out of the hairpin. He's going to get the 3rd position, but Schwaber will not be backing out anytime soon. Keep your eyes focused on this battle for P3 because it's not even over yet. Blackbird's right there as well. He managed to get past Stefanator. Stefanator lost 3 places so swiftly. And yes, he did so well from the beginning of the race to get where he is right now. And yes, Zones is coming around the final corner and takes the race win. Bird is going to be coming to take P2, but we need to keep focused on P3 because if one slight wobble from Camille, we might see it all change. Stefanator is really losing out now. I don't see any puncture on his car, but his grip has definitely left him. Falling down into P8. Camille will cross the line first, gets P3. Schwaber gets P4. Blackbird gets P5. But Bulksan and then Copy jumps up to snatch it away. When penalties are applied, Copy looks in more than anyone else and solidifies that final position on the podium. Well done, you.
Wow, great drive from Copy. Just able to snatch it with penalties. And that's nothing to be ashamed of because that does mean that he's one of the only drivers to have kept it clean throughout the whole race. So, yeah.
Oh,
that's very good from him.
What a race and what a decision from Zones. He gambled it, chucked everything, says all in. I will have that, thank you very much. Lemon says the fastest lap, and then Spax Gamer just immediately spanks it. So the point for the fastest lap will be taken away from the top 10 drivers. It won't go to any of them, but still, you got to feel for Beaker. That was a P2 that was in the pocket for him. He absolutely had that, and due to no fault of his own, just couldn't get it. People leaving the session caused the issue, and it does cause him to fall. It gets a consolation prize, gets P9, and he's the only one of 2 drivers that didn't get a single penalty. So really well done to Beaker. In my mind, he finishes P2, but sad news nonetheless. But Zonzo does take the race win with that beautiful pit stop strategy to go on the mediums, even when it was still wet. Had no confidence to say that it was going to change, but still says, I'm sticking to my guns, and gets the reward for it. Bird gets P2, starts P10, jumps up so many places, and Copy, speaking of jumping, jumped I think 4 places because of penalties, right up there in the P3, so really solid stuff from him. Bulksan taking 4th with Camille in 5th. Schwaber gets 6th with Stefanator in 7th after starting in P19, so solid stuff from him. Blackbird gets P8. Beaker, as we said earlier, sad news on having to leave and rejoin, but gets P9. Brownie gets the final points position, and Frankie Pie gets Best of the Rest award with Lemon there in P12. Spax Gamer P13, and your DNF as well. Spawny, Ray, Tinko, Rayner, Martin G, and Nickton. And wow, Kai, the final question for you then is, who is your driver of the day?
Oh, that's a very difficult one because there's lots of drivers that deserve it. Amazing driving. But I don't know. It's between... I'm going to give it to Beaker. He drove amazingly and then unfortunately got that issue. But I think he drove one of the best out of the whole grid.
See, I'm with you. I think Beaker gets the Purple Heart Award. He tried and he did everything he could, but in the heat of war, he lost out, and it's nothing to do with him at all. He did nothing wrong. But yeah, he just lost out. However, I do think you have to give it to Zuns. I think you'd have to be daft to not give it to him, because that strategy call has to be the ballsiest call I think I've seen ever, and it couldn't have worked out any better if he tried. So really, really good job from him. But that's it for the World Championship Racing Series. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. I've been Brendan Ragged McConnell. This has been Kai Bacchini. Thank you so much, Kai, for filling in for me at last minute. You are an awesome lad. And we'll see you guys next week for more action in the World Championship Racing.